Rock history music. We're live once again. We like being on here. We like doing our live thing. And you might be asking, John Beaudin, yes. Have you given up on your green screen? Not yet. It's still there. It was crooked last night. One thing I did before we get going, one thing I noticed is, sorry, I just ran downstairs really fast because I knew I was running late. But anyway, one thing I realized downstairs is what I see on my iPhone is not what you see. You see a bigger version of what I see, and I couldn't see for the last two nights the green screen hanging down very, very crooked. We're still working on it. We've got a nice rock history book background for when we do this. I just got to figure it out on Ecamm. I use the software Ecamm, and I got to learn it some more. Anyway, thanks for hey, someone's on here, liked it already. Appreciate it. Thank you. How could I have 2 likes and 1 person on? That doesn't make any sense. Anyway, happy Monday. I hope you had a nice weekend. And if it's your birthday, if it's today, Kim Trickle, hi. Thanks for joining our Patreon. Hello. If this is your first time on here, one of the things we wanted to do, and I have to preface this for the next few weeks, I'll say it. Hey, Sue Bailey, is this was always meant to be a Today in History thing. I just thought it was an arduous task to come on here because every single day in every year to come, I'm going to have to do it because Today in History changes. But the thing happened, you stop fighting things. As we get older, we stop fighting things. We don't do things we don't want to do. We do things we want to do. I started realizing my work ethic for Rock History Music, our other channel, which, by the way, just reached 97,000 subscribers. After a while, you stop fighting it. You just go, yeah, I've got to do it. I'm going to do it. And I do like going on live. So let me yawn first. Oh, that's attractive. That's very professional. Shot that, put that down. Okay, folks, thanks for joining us. Today in History. Before we start, one more last thing. Thank you for everyone who joined our Patreon. It helps us maintain some semblance of normal living for us because YouTube, I don't know what happened last month, but we started worrying about things going, we're not going to be able to do this. So what happened? And the first time in 8 years, we're not going to be able to live off YouTube. Listen, my wife's worked for the last 8 years, so we've had that buffer, but she doesn't anymore because we moved across the country. So there you go. Okay, 1951. These are the people who were born on this day. Bonnie Pointer, of course, in the Pointer Sisters. They won 3 Grammys, but from 1973 to 1985, they had 13 top 20 hits. Top 20. She died at the age of 69. She had a heart attack. May she rest in peace. 2 people were born, very different types of people in the music industry from opposite ends. Not complete opposites. They both charted on the pop charts. Richie Sambora was born on this day in 1959. Bon Jovi, guitarist, not anymore, but he was there for most of the time. And in 1959, you saw her on the banner. I've had a crush on her since the first day I saw her singing Luca, yeah. Hey, Brother John. Hey, Elaine Cox, how are you? Suzanne Vega, it's her birthday today. So her and Richie Sambora share a birthday too. I mean, obviously, if it's your birthday today and you're going, wow, there's different types of people who were born on this day. That's why when people look at your astrology and you go, oh, we're supposed to have this thing in common. Yeah, not necessarily. Who died on this day? 1996, Jonathan Melvoin, keyboardist for the Smashing Pumpkins, died of a drug overdose. New York City, he was only 34 years old. I say this a lot, but sometimes the heavy weather of rock and roll, the heavy stuff that happens, the when in Rome stuff, because a lot of people get mixed up with that stuff because A, everyone's doing it, and B, the hardest thing to face in life is getting everything you want and still not being happy. It's a scary situation. Anyway, 2014, Tommy Ramone, of course, the drummer for the Ramones, died of bile duct cancer. He was 65 years old. Something interesting happened in 69. David Bowie, with a wink in his eye as he always had, Space Oddity. The single was rushed to the market to beat the Apollo moon landing, which happened 9 weeks after that. In 1970, Self-Portrait, Bob Dylan's album, had another number one, its 5th number one. 1970, Three Dog Night started a 2-week run at number one with Randy Newman's Mama Told Me Not to Come. I remember, did you have that effect when you heard that song? I'm going, what? What did he just say? Huh? What's that mean? Yeah. In 1975, and they did join Fleetwood Mac, Lindsey Buckingham, and Stevie Nicks on New Year's Eve. The deal was set in motion. Maybe a handshake. I don't know. They joined Fleetwood Mac, but in 75, on this date, their 10th studio album, their first with Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham. Some people call it the White Album. It's sacrilegious to Beatles fans to call any other album the White Album. But they joined the band. They were featured on the album, rather. They didn't join the band then. 1987, Heart, I was just talking to Ann Wilson's publicist today, started a 3-week run at number 1 with the single Alone, the big hair version of Heart. And it took me a while to accept the big hair version, but the big hair version sold a lot of records, right? I obviously preferred Little Queen Barracuda. In 2009, Black Eyed Peas, I Got a Feeling. It was a good song. Even if you don't like the Black Eyed Peas, I would think people who don't like that song one day would be driving down the road. I did this as Celine Dion once, la 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 la, and then you're tapping your toes to it. So that started a 14-week run at number 1 on the U.S. singles chart. Good tune. Don't like the band, but good tune. In 2013, Pearl Jam released their 10th studio album, went straight to number 1, called Lightning Bolt. In 71, long before most of us knew who Bruce Springsteen was, they opened up for Humble Pie. In 1990, Steve Adler was fired from Guns N' Roses. Take your pots and pans. He was replaced by Matt Sorum, who came from The Cult. And in 2002, the funeral for The Who. Hello, everyone. Hey, Todd. The funeral for The Who, bass player John Entwistle, took place. That was a sad situation. I remember going completely, were you stunned? Going, what? Huh? He's dead? It's kind of like when hold on. I'm trying to put the volume down. When Glenn Frey died. He died. I didn't know he was sick. Neil Peart, another one where you go, I didn't even know he was sick. So I want to say hi to some people. Hi, Kim, Sue Bailey, Elaine Cox. Hey, Brother John. You call me Brother John. That's so sweet. Todd, hello, everyone. Hey, Sire, Bonham. So anyway, if there's things I forget, please leave it in the description or put it on there. It will add it for either this one, as we're on live, or the next year when we do this. I like doing this because I learn things every single day that you can't do today in history and think that somehow you're not going to learn an awful lot. There's just monumental things. Rock and roll's been around for long enough where there's just monumental things that happen almost every single day. Almost every day we get something about the Beatles, and there is something about the Beatles in every single today in history, but it doesn't mean we're going to mention it. We mention the big ones, right? First singer crush. This is from Jeffrey. Was Stevie Nicks, 1977. She looked cute in her top hat. She really did. I think most guys had what are the biggest crushes in rock and roll? To me, I mentioned Suzanne Vega. I was madly in love with Suzanne Vega. I was transfixed by when I saw Luca and she's doing these little idiosyncratic, cute things, when she's singing the song. I remember going, that's it. I'm lost. And I recently talked to Suzanne on Facebook. Oh, hi from Argentina here. Huge Elton John fan. Same here. Christian, Elton John's still my all-time favorite. I've got more Elton John albums up there. The middle, you can't really see it. It's the middle section. But first album I ever bought was Mad Men Across the Water. So thank you. But before we leave, any big singer crushes that you've had? I remember she wasn't a singer. She pretended to sing. Susan Day. Because I grew up, in 71, I would have been 11. In 73, that special age, I was 13. So always remember Frank Benali, Quiet Ride drummer. Oh, yeah, he was, I interviewed him, and he knew he had cancer, but he hadn't announced it yet. And he talked about playing Led Zeppelin at his funeral. And I remember thinking, it's weird that he'd mention that. Why would he? He said, the day I die, I hope they play Led Zeppelin. I think he might have said Black Dog. I don't think so, but he said something. I think he said just Led Zeppelin at my funeral. And I went, oh, okay, sure. Dragon Gerald, Fleetwood Mac shows the value of multiple singers in a group. Well, my God, well said. There's so many, I like layered voices. I like piggyback voices. What Toto does was one of the best bands for that, where one singer will sing and another singer will sing. And harmonies is another thing, to have more than one singer, obviously. Speaking of harmonies, I'm talking to Jason Sheff on Thursday, the guy who replaced Peter Cetera in Chicago, and he's got a brand new band. We're going to talk about the new album. And I've got Mark Farner the following week. I have Steve Fossen, formerly of Heart, this week. I spoke to Michael DeRosier. It's not DeRosier, even though English people like to say DeRosier. I asked him, I says, I've had friends with the same spelling when I grew up being French. And he says, it is DeRosier. That's how you do say it. But he says people say it in English, DeRosier. So Steve Fossen this week. And I'm working on a few other very secretive interviews. We're releasing the David Page interview early, but only to our patrons, because we promised Toto that we wouldn't release. This is on our sister channel. But I thought, well, I can release it to my patrons, the people who they basically pay $6.50 and they get access to all our early videos. So we're going to be releasing that. If you ever want to join our Patreon, it's on the very top of the description. In the last couple of days, people have just donated money to us because they know that we've really had a hard month, and just donated money on PayPal. And I went, oh, thank you. Oops. Just my glasses. Anyway, thank you for joining me. We're working on the green screen. We don't know when that's going to be fixed, but we're working on it. Oh, Tom, my husband, reckons Martha Davis was hot. Elaine Cox, she was she had a different type of look. She was very mysterious looking. When I talked to Fee Waybill, remember they had Monkey Time? And Martha, is it Martha Davis? Yeah, Martha Davis, right? Of the Motels? Why am I having a mental old man's... Am I correct? They were never in my wheelhouse. But when I was talking to Fee Waybill, he was saying that song should have been released as a single from the Tubes, Outside Inside. He thought it was a really, really good song. Oops. I'm screwing up here. Doing research on the fly. Yeah, that's her, Martha Davis. She looks very different now. But don't we all? Yeah, she looks nice. She looks nice. Yeah. She's just very different. She used to, and that's a little, but this is fairly, yeah, she looks good. Anyway, thank you everyone for joining us tonight. I appreciate that. The Today in Histories are doing well. For a new feature, when we're starting to hit like 200 hits, and you might think that's nothing, because, you know, the things on our other channel, Rocky Stream Music, they go up like to 500,000, some of them. And that I understand that, but Today in History, I don't write this. It's cherry-picked from 4 or 5 different sites. And I'm going to find out what those sites are so that we can give them credit. But I just like going on here and basically doing Today in History and sharing it with you. So thank you, everyone who joined us. Got to go do my radio show. I always want to do this early, but somehow they do a lot better at night. So go figure. Anyway, take care of yourself. Thank you for everyone who supported us on PayPal or Patreon or buying a t-shirt. It really makes a difference in our lives. It certainly is easier on the nerves when we know that even though YouTube might not be able to pay us a decent wage, we can fall back on Patreon. Appreciate it. So take care of yourself, guys. I'm John Beaudin. This is Rocky Street Book.